There was a young man named Kenji in Osaka, Japan. He had a good job, he had good looks, he had great friends, but every night alone in his apartment, he was losing a war he'd been fighting since he was 14 years old. Not drugs, not alcohol, but against porn. And for 10 years, he deleted apps, he installed blockers, he used willpower, and he told himself every single day that this day would be different, but nothing would last more than a few days. Until he would finally visit his grandfather, who was an old Buddhist practitioner who lived on the outskirts of the city. And as Kenji told his grandfather about the addiction he had been fighting, but handed him an old, small, worn-out book. And the book he handed him was the Dhammapada. It was written 2,500 years ago by the Buddha himself after spending decades studying one question: why do all human beings suffer, and how do they become free? And inside it, the three most important verses in particular that the ancient Japanese used to conquer lust. Stage 1, silencing the urge. There was a surgeon in Tokyo named Hiroshi, not a struggling man by any measure, top of his field, respected, disciplined enough to perform 12-hour operations without losing any focus. If anyone had the willpower to quit something, it was him. He had been watching porn since he was 15, and for 20 years he kept it completely hidden. Nobody knew, not his friends, his colleagues, not his wife. One day his daughter is knocking on the door, asking him if they can go play outside. And he tells her, without opening the door, sitting at his desk, that he's busy. And he ends up watching porn instead of playing with his daughter. And this tore his entire family apart, and so he dedicated himself to quitting lust until he came across the Dhammapada. And there's one line in there that completely broke him. Just as rain breaks through a badly thatched roof, lust breaks through a mind that has not been developed. You see, he would install these app blockers and use his willpower to try and defeat the urges he was getting all the time, when the whole time he had a gap inside of his mind, inside of his roof, that he needed to fix, which was these urges came from his mind, which was he needed to cut off the source of these urges. Every time he got an urge, he realized that using willpower and these app blockers would keep it coming back. And so he would stop watching porn. And he noticed that the urges would go away. He would fix the roof and the rain could not get inside. And he would remember that. And it's not just as simple as stop watching porn, but he would note that down, that porn would keep coming back and these urges would come back every time he would watch it. And that gave him enough reason and evidence to actually stop watching it every time he got an urge. It was the evidence that beat the urge. Stage 2, destroying the brainwashing of the addiction. And there was a 23-year-old in Kyoto named Daichi. He was finishing a degree in engineering. And so from the outside, he was doing everything perfectly. In fact, he was a really accomplished guy. Except he had a porn addiction. And even though he had a porn addiction, he saw it as something that didn't actually affect his life and something that he enjoyed. Till he met a girl named Yui. She was smart, funny, exactly his type, and extremely gorgeous. And they ended up dating for 3 months, and by every measure, it was going well. Except for one thing. Every time they would hang out, he wouldn't feel happy and he wouldn't enjoy it as much as he wanted to. Because every time before they would hang out, while they were hanging out, he was thinking about watching porn when he got back home. And he didn't tell Yui this, and she thought it was her. So they ended up breaking up. And even though it was destroying him, he was happy because he had porn, which he thought he truly enjoyed. And like a monkey leaping endlessly through a forest seeking food, you leap from one thing to the next, never satisfied, never full. And you see, he thought he enjoyed porn, but he was like a monkey, leaping from tree to tree, never satisfied, never full. And so only until he took a step back did he see that he was getting a dopamine spike from porn, and that the truth was he didn't actually truly enjoy it, but it was just fruit that was never going to satisfy him. And after defeating the urges and realizing the truth that he didn't truly enjoy it, it's time to explore how to truly escape lust forever. And 3 months after his grandfather had given him the Dhammapada, Kenji had woken up one Saturday morning in his bed. While he had defeated the urges and no longer enjoyed porn, he still felt like he was missing out on something, and that he would eventually probably relapse. Except he came across one last verse. The men who never escape, it is never the addiction that keeps them trapped, it is what they tell themselves the morning after. And he hadn't understood it at the time, but it finally hit him that morning. It was what he told himself the morning after that mattered. Because there are two types of quitters, even though they both follow the same process. One is sad and misses out, and the other is happy and glad that they've quit. And you can probably tell which one you'd want to be, but also the one that is true, and that's the second one. And Kenji realized this and instantly had a smile on his face. and realized the whole mission he had been on, which was to quit porn. And he had finally done it. And so he forgot about using the willpower or using the app blockers. And he smiled that he never had to watch porn again and was actually happy. And so that's the lesson you need to learn, using all the puzzle pieces to defeat the urges and realize the lie that you never enjoyed it and how it was destroying your life, and that you can walk away with a massive smile on your face, just as all the Buddhists do. And that's how they're able to defeat lust for over 2,500 years. Appreciate you for watching if you did make it this far, and if you could subscribe so more people can see these lessons and be able to defeat lust, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, thank you.